What's up, everyone? This is Niyi Adewale, host of the Akabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. This group meets virtually every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the members of this group are committed to achieving financial freedom well before the traditional retirement age. So in this podcast, you are going to get VIP access to the conversations we have about different forms of investment and creative ways to get your dollars working harder for you than you originally worked to obtain those dollars. So anytime you're going into a real estate contract, and this is something that went away during the past 2 years when all the craziness was going and it was just up, 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 is sellers had so much power that people were waiving due diligence period. They were waiving inspection contingency and waiving appraisal contingencies. And for me personally, I've never done that. Now I'm open to tightening it up, right? But I've never done that because those are there for a reason. So the first protection that you have, right? And the strongest one is your due diligence period. And during due diligence period, you can literally walk away for any reason and get your earnest money back. That's the time where you want to spend detailed info, kind of digging deep into the numbers to truly make sure like everything's tight, it's going to work. You want to make sure you're doing your inspections and things of that nature to make sure the house is good. And then really decide, hey, do I want to move forward? So that's due diligence. Typically, due diligence is anywhere from 3 to 14 days. When we were in the time period right after 08, when nobody was buying, the typical length of time was 14 days for due diligence, right? And longer, because you can lock it up and really like kind of see where the market's going and things of that nature. Last year, when we were in that craziness, the most you could get from a seller was 3 days due diligence. And that was pushing it, right? You had to have a strong offer to get the 3 days because they knew, hey, we got 8 other offers that are here and we're going to move on one of these if you're not quick with it. And now we're starting to move back toward that buyers and that equilibrium. And so we're able to get that 5, 7, 10-day due diligence, depending on the deal and depending on the seller. And it's kind of giving us more time to think about it. So that's due diligence. The next protection that you have is your financing contingency. So we talk about pre-approvals, right? And there's always, a lender that can get you a pre-approval letter pretty quickly. But the other piece that you got to think about is once you actually start going into due diligence and get something under contract, that's when your lender actually submits your file to the underwriter who makes the final decision. Now, the good lenders that you talk to are going to pre-qualify you hard, and they're going to screen and make sure like, okay, all the numbers that you're providing look legit before they move forward, and they'll tell you about any potential concerns. But the reason we have a financing contingency is if they tell us at any point during that financing contingency period that, hey, it's looking like we may not be able to finance the loan due to this, that, or the other, we can still back out with a letter from them. We can back out and get your full earnest money back during that financing contingency. Any questions on that piece before we move on to the last one?
Good so far.
Okay. And then the last one that you have, and this one I've utilized a couple times, is the appraisal contingency. And the appraisal contingency simply states, if the house does not appraise, right, during this time period, if it doesn't appraise for the price that we've offered, say it goes a little bit lower, we can go back to the table and either renegotiate the contract or we can cancel the contract and get our earnest money back. I've been successful both personally and with clients in getting that renegotiated and figuring out a way to get us to closing with the seller lowering that price down. At times we've had to concede a little bit on the credits and things of that nature, but it's always been to the benefit of the buyer as well as the seller to lower that price and kind of get it down. One of the examples I can give you is I put a house personally under contract for $400K in, when was that? In June, and I closed in July, and the house appraised for $385. Now, the reason it appraised for $385 is because it was a single family with an in-law suite, and they did not count the in-law suite because it did not have heating and cooling in it. Now, I looked at that as an opportunity. I was like, hey, I'm just going to put a mini duct in there get it heated and cooled, which I have it now, and I'm going to list them both on Airbnb separately, and I have it both listed right now. But long story short, it didn't appraise, and so I had to go back to the table. I ended up giving back some of the seller paid credits to get them to lower it all the way down to the 385, close on the property, and I'm happy to be kind of have that thing up and running today.
And
Fair
here
enough.
in Georgia or
Yep.
here in
Yeah.
Atlanta?
That one is in Marietta. So that one is 15 minutes away from the Battery, which is where, the Atlanta Braves play. And so
Yeah.
the front house is like an art house that I put together, which is dope. And I can send you like pictures. And then the back house is a 1 bed, 1 bath with a kitchenette, in-law suite that I rent out as well. So I just had somebody recently book that for the whole month of November. And, I was hoping for the in-law suite to make between 1,500 and $2,000 during the off season. And then during the high season, make like that 2,500. And this person booked it for 2,600 for the whole month of November because I think they're like a digital nomad and they just were looking for another spot to work out of. Kareem, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
I'm super good, man. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
What you got going on, man? How is the B&B coming?
It looks like we're off season, so we're surviving
Mm-hmm.
right now. I think we're very close to like finishing up like all the initial issues that would come up like in a new place.
Mm-hmm.
But November was tough. I'm sorry, October was it's starting good. I've noticed the average daily price went down, but it's filling up. First week filled up. And yeah, most of the reservations come like to like sort of like the same week or like a week before that situation. It's scary, but we're holding on, you know.
And do you have your automations in place as far as the messaging and things of that nature?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's in place. Star rating is good. What I have noticed, I wanted to ask you about this too, is that I filled up most of October on VRBO.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if I was getting penalized by Airbnb for
So
not
there's
being available. Is that a thing?
no, because
Okay.
Airbnb understands that, people are renting out their own homes sometimes and they may need time away. So
Hmm.
no, it's just sometimes VRBO is where you're getting a lot of people and other times it's Airbnb. I would say when it hits the summer and springtime, which is the high period, right? That's when it's like, hey, off to the races. You're going to get a lot more Airbnb travel because people are off of
Hmm.
work and things of that nature. I've noticed the VRBO, like I have somebody staying actually in the in-law suite underneath me. They booked for, I think they're coming mid-November through mid-December. And that's from VRBO. This is the fourth time this family stayed with me. They come out to visit some of their family members out here. But long story short, I notice around like the holidays, it's more VRBO stays as well.
Mm. That makes sense.
Or at least they're
Uh,
snapping it up before people snap up Airbnb from Airbnb.
right. That makes sense. Another question I had for you was the vetting system, the vetting process. I've gotten like a few questionable requests in the past, or from like my point of view, I felt they were questionable. I start with like the basic questions like, hey, what brings you guys to town? My real question is, am I allowed to request like IDs and stuff on the platform? Can I ask the guests to attach like a picture of their IDs?
So, Kareem, this is an amazing question. And this comes around to mitigating risk of bad reviews and things of that nature up front. Because if you get a guest that's going to be an issue or they're giving you issues like before they even come on point, you know that this is somebody you probably want to deny. And so I'm actually going to share my screen and I'll show you what we do. So to answer your question, technically they don't like that. They don't want you to do anything off platform. That being said, you've got to protect your investment. And so what I have the team do, and I think we actually just did this for somebody. Let me see if I can find that person. And I'm going to share my screen so you can see. There you go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we just did this for somebody. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Hospitable, right? You're using Hospitable too, Kareem, right?
I am.
Okay. Okay. So you're familiar with Hospitable. But long story short, I have the team. This person asked, hey, they're going to be coming, unfortunately, for a death in the family. But when you
Yeah.
see they have no reviews. And so
Yeah.
anytime somebody has no reviews, I've trained the team to say, hey, let's take an extra step to qualify this person. And this person's only been active for 6 months, which is another quote unquote risk. And Paul, for your knowledge, typically people will have reviews. And if they have good reviews, I let those guys instant book or we'll automatically accept them. If there's no reviews, we just want to take an extra step to make sure we're protecting our property. And so this is a canned message, and you have to put it in a way like this. Otherwise, the system will block it, Airbnb or VRBO, because they don't want you communicating off platform, right? Otherwise, people would just send links to direct booking and they want to get any of the bookings. So we put it like this, but you can see they send the email and they confirm that they've read all the house rules. And hey, thanks, ID. We've sent 3 of the IDs, da 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 da. And what we're looking for is that the name on the ID, at least one of them, matches the person booking and that they're all 25 plus. The same way that if you were to go to Enterprise, right, and try to rent a car, they're not going to allow you to rent unless you're 25 plus, or they're going to ask you to pay extra. The reason being, typically it's, between 18 and 25 where you're doing the craziest and you're like, hey, I'm going to go street race with this rental car, or I'm going to go throw a party at this house. After 25, you probably figured it out. And so that's kind of what we do. And we mention all that up ahead of the time. And so
neat. Are all the guests required to be over 25 or at least one?
We look for not all the guests because you're going to have children, things of that nature,
Right.
but at least the person booking. And this is just
Got it.
me.
Okay.
You can do it how you want, but at least the person booking.
And that's how I have it too.
And then you can see they sent it over, and my guy accepted it. So they just went through the same normal process.
They couldn't have just attached it to the messages?
No, they won't unless it's VRBO. VRBO, they can attach it to the messages. Airbnb will not let you attach any pictures until after somebody reserves. So we put the system to make it standardized.
Got it. So in the inquiry phase, you can't attach anything until actual booking is accepted?
Yeah, until you're booked and accepted, you can't attach for Airbnb. VRBO,
right?
Yes, but I just standardized it for everybody to make it easier and teachable.
Got it. So my biggest issue is actually with VRBO because I think their screening process is not as thorough as Airbnb. I think I've checked out accounts where it just says like email verified, and that's probably the only verification they did. So we don't know who that person is. We don't have like any licenses, like we don't have any IDs or anything. So I've been requesting. I found myself requesting more on VRBO, and I've asked people to actually attach the back and front of their ID, and they've done that in VRBO, and everything was fine. For Airbnb, yes, that's a good point. That I haven't crossed that bridge yet, but I usually screen. I ask them the first set of questions. If they haven't responded, so I just moved on. But yeah, so I see your point here with sending them like a standard. So does
Kareem,
Hospitable know?
The way that you're doing it is fine. The reason I've made it a standard is we're managing a lot, right? We got 12 plus units, so it's like, hey,
yeah.
So, but with one right now, I think it's fine to kind of, with Airbnb, maybe you send a canned message where it's, hey, if you have to screen like that, can you send it over here? And with VRBO, just have them attach it in the VRBO.
What's a canned message?
So a canned message, it's one of those here. So you haven't used that yet on Hospitable.
I've seen them, but I don't know like what's the application. Like how do I use them? When do I use them? So I just kind of left it alone.
Okay, so a canned message is awesome because you can kind of create, these are all messages that I created ahead of time. So for example, we're going to keep sending this message when guests don't have reviews. So I have team members like, Dom and Marusa, where they would just click this. It would type the whole thing out, including the person's name, and then they just hit send. So it saves on some time. And you can create canned messages. I even have a canned message for when somebody checks out and they say, "Hey, thank you so much for the stay." It's
Just a response.
Yeah, like where is it? Safe travels.
Does that work on a mobile app as well?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you, Tahisha. Wish you safe travels for your next session. Just something kind, right? So
Yeah.
canned message will save you some time.
Yeah, perfect. So
and you can go into operations and operations or guest experience and canned responses to create those.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Good to know.
Come on now, Paul. Any questions on what we just reviewed?
Not so far, no.
Okay. What else you got, man?
So how is the short-term rentals, do you feel like is going to be like this winter with all what's happening in the market? Any predictions from like experts or anything?
I'm not one to predict on that piece. All I can do is look at how the bookings are coming in. And for the ones that we have across the portfolio and in Atlanta in general, we're getting actually longer term bookings for a lot of our properties. I'll give you a couple examples. We have one in Lithonia where we had somebody that had there he goes. What's up, man? So we had one in Lithonia where we had somebody that had an insurance claim and they checked in. I want to say they checked in here. I'll actually show you too. They checked in on, I want to say on October like 1st through the 11th. And long story short, it took a little longer for the insurance claim. And so they are actually going to be with us until December 30th. So they just extended, and that was pretty incredible. Here you go. So they just extended, and this is pretty good amount, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing a lot of people booking for a bit longer. I just talked about the in-law suite I have up in Marietta. Somebody just booked for the whole month of November. Downstairs, somebody's coming from mid-November to December. And the main piece you got to think through, and that's going to help you, is right now you have all the systems in place and you're building up a presence in an online network for VRBO and Airbnb so that when you hit the spring and summer, it's going to take off, right? And the aggregate over the time period is going to equal out to those plus or minus 5% on those Air DNA numbers, right? But when you look at like some of the houses that I had first, like downstairs is always booked. My house that's over like a couple blocks away from here, it's been killing it this year. And this whole like November and everything, I had to raise the prices because I have all the reviews from last year when I got started in August with that house. And so it's really helping it kind of cruise through now because people are like, yeah, this is the house I want to stay in because everybody stayed there.
Yeah. So the reviews and everything is pushing it up on the page. The algorithm is helping you.
Yeah, you just got to give it some time and work through, to your point, the low season. But that low season in Atlanta, thankfully, doesn't last very long compared to other places. And once you hit that spring, which I consider the March timeframe, you're going to see the uptick of bookings, dollar amounts, and then please don't forget to update your pricing before the spring/summer. You want to increase that.
Okay. So it's not enough to just have I have price slabs. I think
Nice.
that's the platform I'm using. So do I expect them to do that?
Kareem, you said
Sorry
you expect them
about
to
that.
change the price? No worries. You said, do you expect them to change the price?
Yeah, for price labs, do I let do what they're supposed to do and make the changes automatically, or do I have to go in and change like that base price manually?
So they can do it automatically. Absolutely. The only thing I would change is two things. As you start to dig in, you can actually set seasonal boundaries, right? To where, hey, in the wintertime, let's make our minimum a little bit lower. In the summertime, our minimum is a bit higher. For example, my one bedroom, one bath downstairs, for the wintertime, I have that one set for a minimum of $75 a night. right? Because I want to make sure it's
Mm.
booked during the week and things of that nature. On the weekends, it's definitely higher. It's in the hundreds, right? But during the week, it goes lower. For the spring and summer, I have my minimum for a 1 bed, 1 bath set to 99 a night, right? So the minimum somebody can book it for is 99, and they're booking it like hotcakes because it's the summer. So you can set that seasonal, but that's getting more detailed. What I would say is for heading into that spring and summer, all I would do is update the minimum and the base. Just make sure your minimum goes higher to where you're only going to accept X amount, and then kind of go from there.
Okay. Off topic, would
Mhm.
you recommend reinvesting into real estate right now?
Dude, I'm looking at it right now as let me take a step back. So it depends on your strategy. If you're looking to go do a flip right now and go get it sold, I would say no. Unless you have a
Yeah.
whole team that's been doing this and like you're ready to rock and have your numbers dialed in, I would not be doing flips. But if you're open to doing either a burr or you're willing to hold it long term, and by long term I mean at least like 2 to 3 years, yeah, I'm actively buying. I'm helping others actively buy. And the reason being, when it was the past 2 years, it was so hard to negotiate for anything. Like you couldn't get
Mm.
closing credits, you couldn't get even a longer due diligence period. Now, the
Mm.
people that are selling are those that either they just finished a flip and they finished it late, or they have to sell for some
They're
reason, like
stuck.
they're moving, they're stuck, they have to sell.
Yeah.
And so you're able to negotiate. So in the last couple of weeks, been able to negotiate the largest seller credit that I've ever done, right? 31,000 on a 525 house, as well as negotiate a seller putting a whole kitchenette into a basement to make it house hackable, right? Before somebody actually moves in. So that's amazing items that would not be there if this was even March of this year before the interest rates started going crazy. And so
Yeah.
if you have a longer term view, absolutely. And then just keep in mind you can refinance this thing down the road.
Right. So for my unit, is it a good time to invest in that like the backyard garage area, or should we wait a little bit like for the high season?
What are your thoughts and what would you do with that back? Would you turn it into like a game room or something?
Something like that. From my research, it looks like items like jacuzzis show up in the search, like they're highly sought after amenities. So that's doable.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get a quote for that roof though, and I'm assuming it's probably going to be like around like 5 grand or something like that. But hopefully
From
not a lot more.
From a timing perspective, all I can tell you is what I'm personally doing, right? For the house
Yeah.
that I just bought, and I closed on that in late July. And that house, I put about 40K into furnishing it because it was two houses I had to furnish. It was an in-law suite
Wow.
and the main house, right? But I wanted it to be
Yeah.
dope. So I put about 40K into furnishing it, mostly on credit card, which is getting paid off over time, right? And I have 3 sheds in the back that are legit sheds. Like you could
Hmm.
put a pool table in one of the sheds. You could make something else, right?
So
But
let me
I'm
stop you
leaving.
for a second here with just
Please.
for that credit card piece. Is your expectation to pay off these credit cards within that 0% time limit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know how to do that.
It takes a
Uh,
little bit of taking the pressure off of it some, right? So I put X amount to go toward that credit card every month. I think I have it right now. I have like 30K in the credit card and I put 1,500 per month to go toward that, which is not
yeah.
enough to knock it off in 12 months. But then I'm also going to contribute, right? Once we hit that high season, I'm going to contribute
Mm.
more personally, et cetera, to get that knocked out. Because at the end of the day, it's all going to be a tax write-off anyway, right? So it's kind of, but yeah, I'm going to pay it off within those 12 months.
All right. That's one thing. The taxes is something that I'm really banking on to offset at least the credit card debt. But since it's just you and me on the call right now, I
Sure.
can be selfish. What one thing So the entire month of October, I was only able to fill in the weekends,
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes an extra like Monday here or Thursday there. What can I do right now, today, to better the durations in the month of November?
So for November, do you already have a couple weekends booked up?
November, I have this week. I have someone came in today, and they're leaving Monday, so that's most of the week. And I don't have anything else yet.
Okay. And there's nobody for the next weekend yet, right?
No, nothing. Nobody for the next weekend. Yeah, let me confirm.
So I can show you what I
I'm
did,
pretty sure.
right?
Yeah.
So if I
Yeah.
showed you this is, let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this. There we go, calendar. Okay. So I can show you what I did here. Let me share my screen. So this is that property I was telling you about, 427. This is the one that I bought in August of last year that's been booming. And so in October, I had something similar where like the weekends were all booked and it was booked ahead of time. And what you can do when you have that is, the weekdays are going to be slightly less desirable. People already have the weekend. I just lowered it significantly, right? You just scroll in for the weekdays, right? And cut it by, I think I cut the weekdays by like 30 or 40%, because at the end of the day, I already had the weekends boosted up. Now I'm just trying to get a solid guest in for during the week to boost up those payments as well. And like what I should do right here, you see how I have it kind of blocked off here? Like these guys are all staying and it's paying good amounts. I need to lower this, right?
Yeah.
And pull somebody in, because when you put it together in aggregate, it's better to take in, call it $300-400 for 3-4 days, because you got to include the cleaning fee that you're going to get, than nothing during those days. So I actually would jump into dynamic pricing. I'm going to do it right now live, right? Before I forget, because I definitely will. That's why I have a whole team. So I jump into dynamic pricing, and it's for VRBO. I like doing it for Airbnb, for more Airbnb. So boom. So jump into dynamic pricing for those.
So is that a strategy to have like one platform and one price and another platform different price?
For me, yes. I found that VRBO takes a little bit more in platform fees. I don't know if you noticed that. And so
no idea yet.
And
I didn't
so
get to that level yet.
Hey, come on now.
I'm just
And
like,
so
I'm just so happy that you're. Oh, and they're holding. Oh, this month killed me, and they haven't paid me anything for all of October.
you talking about VRBO?
VRBO, yeah.
Really? Oh, it's because it's the first month, right?
It's the first month, yeah.
True. But to that
So,
point, what I do is, you see how I just did that? So I already got all these other days booked up, right? And the weekends, I'm not worried about any of that. So I'm like, okay, let me just knock these down and get some money in. And you do it ahead of time. And I don't even mind knocking these down to 75, because 75 times 3 is 225. That's pretty good for a Monday to a Wednesday, right? I'm fine with that, especially when you got the weekends booked up, and that's going to all add up. And we
so
got
what if
plenty of
you
time.
don't have? Is it a good idea to do that in a week where the weekends are not booked up yet?
If the weekend's not booked up yet, what I would do, weekends are typically, as you've seen, always going to get booked. So I would, if you said somebody's checking out Monday, right? Monday is, you still got a couple days, but we're within that 5-day period. I would lower Monday through Wednesday, maybe, right, for a little bit, to see if we can get somebody in. I'd hold steady on Thursday through Sunday until we got to maybe Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday through Sunday is still like not there, then I'd lower it, not by as much as I did, but maybe like 10%, because that'll get it back boosted. Because again, when you look at the algorithm, what it's looking at is lower prices first, and those get boosted. And if you change your price, it'll take the lowest price that you have within the next couple of days and display that as your price.
Okay. All right, so these people are actually leaving Sunday, so I can, starting now, I can drop Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday too.
I would do Monday through Wednesday. I'd leave Thursday.
Okay. I wonder if I can group select. Let me. Oh yeah. Okay. So Monday the 7th till Wednesday the 9th. I have Price Labs have it at 80. I think I dropped it already to 84, but let me try to knock it down and have it fixed, right? Minimum price just 75,
Mhm.
right? It's asking me for a price, a minimum price, and a maximum price. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the platform or not.
I'm not as familiar. I really don't know price labs like that because I've been using
Yeah,
dynamic pricing, but
yeah.
from what I hear, they're both similar, right?
Okay, so maybe I should set probably the maximum price at 75 as well for those 3 days, so it doesn't, so just to
You,
enforce the rule,
it's just for those 3 days?
just for the 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Just to make it that price.
Shit, I
Yeah.
think that's, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
I,
would just make sure you're not doing that for across the board. I get nervous about setting
well,
maxes. What I did was I just
mm,
decreased, and I would almost just set a price for those 3 days. I'd select those 3 days, and if you're able to set a price, I would do that, or just decrease those days by a percentage. I usually like doing the percentage
like,
route.
mm,
Like, hey, 10%, 15% for those couple days that I selected.
okay. I'm gonna do save and refresh. Okay. So that's just like an experiment. Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
And if I can get 75 a day on like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that would be incredible because they're normally empty.
And that's the small touches that you have to do because the system's doing most of the rest of the work, right? With people at booking and stuff. But
Yeah.
if you see like, hey, there's a blank in here, you just want to pop in real quick, select a couple dates, make a change, and kind of go from there.
Hmm. Yep. Okay. So I guess if I'm thinking about another property, I I would have to like factor in like enough capital, like enough cushion to sit on because this is the mistake I made on the first one. I kind of went in like 90%
Mm-hmm.
and I only have like 10%. I want to start to eat through that. I'm starting to get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So
When you say, and you're talking about you'd want to have for furniture or for like reserves?
for reserves.
For reserve, okay, for reserves.
Yeah, a cushion for reserve. This is what I would like the advice I would give to someone
Mm-hmm.
who's coming in fresh now. Because I'll be honest, I'm still paying like out of pocket in the last 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a lot of it is contributed to the fixes, so that's hopefully it's not gonna happen every month. But yeah, yeah, so far I don't think I've made it even. And October was a disaster because I was just paying for cleaning and everything out of pocket. I haven't got anything from VRBO.
Mm-hmm. That VRBO piece is tough, right? But once they open it up, then it becomes just like Airbnb, where it's not next day for VRBO. It's still like 3 days, but it's close. It's like, hey, same week.
Yeah, yeah. If they come within the month is fine. So I'm getting my first payment on November 6th.
Come on now, hey, 4 days, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But if I didn't have a cushion, I would have been in trouble. I would have
Mm-hmm.
been like looking to sell this house now.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I didn't go like all in, all in.
You are in the game.
I am.
Hey, come on now. Have you?
It's
So
tough, man.
I know we talked about it last month, but there was a couple guests where it was like, hey, a credit situation, things of that nature. Have you like tightened that piece up now? And is it occurring less over the month of October?
Credit?
Like, hey, this guest is saying I need to credit them for this and that.
Oh,
We talked a little while ago. Did
yeah.
it occur less over the month of October?
It didn't. It only occurred that one time.
Oh, nice.
Actually, so it occurred twice. One that we both split that the refund,
Hmm.
and it occurred one more time, and I just gave him like one day off. That person complained about a dead roach,
Mm.
and it was unavoidable. We have the service; they're coming.
And it's dead, which is what is going to happen. It's going to be
That's
dead.
what they told me. Yeah, that's what the service people said. They said that if the roach is dead, that means that the treatment is working.
Mhm.
So I tried to reason with the person. He was just not having. He's like, I wish you would have told me this before I booked. So I'm like, I
It's like, how do you
can't tell
know?
you. Yeah, I can't tell you everything that can possibly happen in the world, before you book.
Yeah.
I can't tell you a branch is gonna fall from a tree and like make a hole in the ceiling. Like I don't know these things.
Yeah.
But like learning the from like the agony that we had to go through to get rid of that 1 star. I
Mhm.
just gave him 1 day back and moved
Good.
on. And he gave me I think 4 stars.
Nice. And to your point, like we've actually been able to remove one, or we're working on it. We're working on it, but I think we're going to get it. So thank you for that tip. That was amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad I can help. Yeah, it's very significant.
Mhm.
Well, I couldn't believe when they responded back.
How's the Turnify team doing for you?
They're actually doing a fantastic job for the most part. Yeah, yeah. I've been out there. I go there like at least twice a month.
Nice.
So I've been there twice in October. I would have been there today if I hadn't had that one guest.
Mhm.
I usually have the Monday to go because Thursday is trash day, so I make sure like everything is in order.
Yep.
But for the most part, they've been pretty good.